Good evening, everybody. Welcome inside Chestnut Hill College. It is the site of the Pete and Jameer Nelson Classic. It's live here on Bob Long Sports with Bob Long and Chris Carabello. It is a great matchup here this evening as the LaSalle Explorers will take on the Cardinals of Calvert Hall. And Chris, this is a nice matchup for the Explorers as you have two schools that are very, very similar. You have the LaSalle and Calvert Hall, both of the Christian Brothers, tutelage, and a lot of back and forth that we've seen. Jason Hassan, the head coach of Calvert Hall, coached just last year at West Catholic. So a lot of storylines here between two programs that are more similar than they are different.
Certainly two schools that are very similar in that they're both LaSallian schools. Couple members of the LaSalle faculty, Bill Leahy, and namely one, is a graduate of Calvert Hall. He's a great lacrosse player there. But certainly we're not looking at the Calvert Hall team of the 80s. This game is a rematch of a game played exactly a year ago, between these two schools. LaSalle, a 10-point victor, 69-59 over Calvert Hall in the first round of the Benedictine Classic in Richmond. So these two teams played each other exactly a year ago today. Zach Chrysler, 18 points in that game. We'll see what Zach can contribute today.
And the starting lineups first for Calvert Hall, and now being introduced to LaSalle Explorers. Three-guard lineup to start off: Alan Powell, Titus Beard, Jake Timby, and then Zach Chrysler, Conrad Kiska in the front court. It's a lineup that's been very, very solid for this Explorer team this year. Zach Chrysler, Conrad Kiska in their senior years and doing great things.
Yeah, and I think this is the start of a nice three-game test for the Explorers. I think Calvert Hall's record at 3-8 is deceiving. They play in a very, very difficult conference. That MIAA A conference is as difficult as it gets, with McDonough, Gilman, and St. Francis, Spalding, John Carroll. I mean, some of the more difficult teams in the Mid-Atlantic region. So I think Calvert Hall is going to give them a sizable test, particularly Calvert Hall is a team that likes to press, and that's one of the areas where the Explorers have struggled this season, particularly on the baseline and inbound.
And we are underway here. Zach Chrysler wins the tap. The Explorers with the first possession of the basketball game. Calvert Hall, they go man-to-man. Beard with the basketball now for the Explorers. Powell, the traditional point guard, swings it around for Chrysler, and the Explorers are patient with their first offensive possession. First touch for Conrad Kiska on his way to Princeton next year, and now Timby has it on the baseline. They work their way now into a 2-3 matchup zone.
Again, a size advantage for the Explorers, particularly down low with Chrysler.
Powell thought about the three. Dribble drive is denied. Chrysler over the top, and it goes. Nice job by Alan Powell to turn down the good shot for the better shot. And Zach Chrysler puts the Explorers up to start the game.
It's a great start for Zach.
This is Terrence Henderson, double teamed as the Explorers go into his own themselves. Matchup look here as they're quick to double team, and now they funnel into the straight man. Over the top, that three is good from number 10, Shane Allen. And it is up-tempo, here we go. Terrence Henderson looked like he turned an ankle there as he was coming back down the floor. He's guarding Beard right now for the Explorers. Timby on the right wing.
Unable to get it inside of Kiska.
And Conrad Kiska is fouled inside by the undersized Logan Curtis, a 6'4" senior.
Who's giving up every bit of 3 inches to Kiska.
Conrad Kiska listed at 6'7", headed to Princeton University next year. Explorers in white, Calvert Hall Cardinals are in red. 3-3, a minute and a half into this one.
Again, the Explorers will look to get it inside to exploit the size differential.
And 3 seconds called against Conrad Kiska. That'll go back to Calvert Hall. 2 minutes into this one. And an offensive foul called against Calvert Hall. That's against Logan Curtis. Three apiece, a little sleepy so far here, Chris, on both sides. They have the nice three-point baskets from both teams, but a 3-second call and then an offensive foul. And the Explorers looking to get into their offensive set.
Yeah, the Explorers need to get into a little bit of a groove. And there we go on out.
Chris, that's one part of his game that's continued to improve over his 4 years here. He has a terrific mid-range game, and his shot from the elbow is as good as anybody's you'll see in the league.
And he's played very unselfish this year, and there was a prime example. That was a shot he knew he could make, and he took it.
Allen funnels it back. Ryan Sand, the 6'10 junior. Now Curtis has it. Shot goes right over the top, and buckets for Kevin Collier, the 6'7 senior. Collier at 6'7 certainly is going to be oversized by Zach Chrysler. I'd even guess that it's more than 2 inches.
Right, I'm not sure he's 6'7".
But a wide body. Zach Chrysler misses the shot off the side of the backboard. The Explorers fortunate to get it back. Look at those eyes. Beautiful pass. Titus Beard can't hit it. And a foul called against the Explorers. But, wow, what a look there from Alan Powell.
Yeah, it's wide open three. You know, one of the things Explorers need to be conscious of is the three-point line in this gym. There's 2 of them. There's a colored floor, a totally different colored floor for the college three, but the high school three is inside of that.
In fact, I'm looking on the telecast prompt right now.
And you can't even see it.
And it is much more difficult to see it on the telecast than it is here live and in person. It's a gray stripe, good hands in the passing lane by Powell. It's a gray stripe that is, again, just 1 foot difference all the way around, but that dark brown outside the paint but before the three-point line makes that very difficult to see.
Well, both Chrysler and Titus Beard shots came with outside of the college three.
That was something that was done about 5 years ago. They started by just changing the men's line to there, and then they changed the women's game to add that extra foot as well, but high school has yet to adapt that change. Nice job to get the ball into the middle of the zone. Back for Curtis. Curtis fades away. No good. Rebound pulled down by Khalil Diarra.
Yeah, Diarra in the game now for Chrysler.
Timby for 3. That's good.
That's a long-range three, well outside of that college three line.
Calvert Hall trying to answer. Curtis can't get it to go, and Conrad Kiska brings it down. Out on the run go the Explorers. Powell with the bucket.
Great pass from Kiska to Powell. Laid it right up.
When you see he kind of short-armed as Curtis was going for the block attempt. He got it up pretty quickly, and that was a really nice play to prevent the timing by Curtis for going up for that block. 10-5 Explorers, 3:25 to play first quarter. Explorers stay in this zone. They've transitioned into and out of zone defense all year. And tonight, other than that first possession, they've been consistently in the zone. Henderson to Allen. Allen gets it into Curtis. Allen for 3, no good. Backside rebound corralled by Ryan Sand. And the floater goes on the find from Sand to Henderson. It's 10-7.
The Explorers can't give up second chance opportunities. They have a size advantage made to grab the rebounds.
Titus Beard with his back to the basket.
Look for the back.
Guard spins to the baseline, high off the window and good.
Taking advantage of a height differential. Playing against the smaller guard.
Baseline, can't finish. Now here comes Titus Beard. The Explorers have had success here on the run. Timby with the alley-oop, it won't go. And Diarra cleans up the mess.
On the put back. It was a nice pass to Timby. I think it threw him a little off guard. He had to shoot it without landing.
Well, I think that was because Alan Powell was a little thrown off guard. He was trying to go for that layup, and then the block attempt came. He threw it a little harder for Timby. Khalil Diarra has done nothing but corral rebounds since he's come into this basketball game. He is a monster on the defensive glass. and the offensive glass for that matter. Powell, floater, won't go.
Won't go.
Pulled down by Kevin Collier. Out on the run come the Cardinals. LaSalle back pretty well defensively. Mismatch inside if Calvert Hall wants to go to it. Beard inside guarding Collier. Pretty good defense here by the Explorers.
There's not that much of a height differential between Beard and Collier.
That's a very good point. And that one hit the wire.
Hit the wire.
Out of play to LaSalle. 1:16 to play. First quarter, LaSalle doubling up Calvert Hall, 14-7.
Now we have mass substitutions for the Cardinals. 4 new players.
And on the LaSalle side, Sam Brown makes his first appearance in the lineup. Freshman for the Explorers. Big time screen there by Conrad Kiska. Opens up the lane and adjusts in midair. What a finish. 16-7, 1:02 to play. And a delay of game called against the Explorers, so a warning there. I think both teams thought a timeout was called there,
right,
but for tapping the basketball after it went through the cylinder. That's where the call came.
Coach Mike McKee had them as if it were a 30-second timeout.
Great start here for the Explorers. They'll pick up with a 3/4 court pressure. And this is an interesting look. I like that LaSalle's changing up the looks, but I don't know that you need to slow down this Calvert Hall team. They're not taking great shots. They're forcing shots up. Right now, I think Calvert Hall is playing right into the strengths of the Explorers. And LaSalle's getting a lot of easy defensive rebounds off some marginal at best offensive looks.
Yeah, there's nothing hot about the Calvert Hall game right now.
Cardinals may look to hold for the last shot of the first quarter, under 25 seconds to play. Explorers stay in that 2-3 zone with the guards Beard and Powell on the outside. Wedlock nearly had it taken away. They get it back inside. Jump stop blocked by Conrad Kiska. And a big-time foul as Sam Brown is hit hard by number 2, Terrence Henderson. That might remind him more of his hits he took as a running back. And plenty of time here, Chris.
Right, that actually helps the Explorers, stopping the clock, giving them a chance to inbound with 7.6 seconds left.
Powell will have to go the length of the floor.
And he'll likely take it the entire way.
Great look for Brown for 3. No good, but they get a good look at the horn. It's 16-7, LaSalle leading over fellow Christian Brothers School, Calvert Hall. So you mentioned, again, the same date last year that these two teams got together, becoming a nice little rivalry here.
A year ago today. Now, that was part of a different tournament, obviously the Benedictine Classic that the Explorers were part of last year in Richmond. But prior to that, it had probably been years before LaSalle and Calvert Hall had played each other. I know for a fact that the 80-81 team that won the Catholic League Championship played them in Wilkes-Barre at King's College, and at that point in time, Calvert Hall was the #1 team in America. They would repeat that the following year. They had a guy, Dwayne Farrell, who played at Georgia Tech and the Atlanta Hawks. And Calvert Hall was clearly a national power in the early 80s. LaSalle assistant coach Doc Conroy, his father Judge team, played them as well that same year. LaSalle played them in 82 at Calvert Hall. Chip Greenberg and that team went down and lost pretty handily to a team that, as I said, went on to be the #1 team in America.
Some pretty nice factoids there, Chris.
I lived it.
I
lived it.
#1 team in the country, he said, Calvert Hall.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, unfortunately, this team struggling a little bit this year, 3-8 overall, but you have to understand, they've already played 6 conference games in the MIAA, and that league is absolutely stacked, led by St. Francis, a team who's nationally ranked just about every year, a team that has Division I players all over the floor, and they really have scheduled themselves in a very difficult manner. Jason Hassan, the first-year head coach for Calvert Hall, but no stranger to the area. He coached at West Catholic last year and for each of the last 2 years, and recently took the job here at Calvert Hall. Here's the Explorers after the steal. Powell with the finger roll, and somehow it goes.
Alan Powell, who's leading this team in scoring, with 16.6 points per game.
And there it is.
There's the Khalil.
Every game, at least one.
At least once.
He is a tremendous defensive player.
I'm going to get the statistics on this for our next broadcast, Bob, but I have to think that's at least his 7th charge.
And that one, perfect defensive position, and just took the contact. What a great play. Now full court pressure for Calvert Hall. Explorers break it well. Khalil Diarra chose not to go up with it.
And we've talked about this before, Bob, but he's a tremendous passer.
Zach Chrysler in and out. Tapped his own rebound back out. Extra pass opens up the 3 for Brown. Won't go. Out of bounds, last touch
stays
by Calvert Hall.
Good call by the officials.
Jason Hassan, a guy that certainly understands how to build a winner. Over in New Jersey, coached the school, had 112 wins during his time there and had tremendous winning percentage. Prior to that was an assistant at St. Anthony's, the regional and even national power in northern New Jersey. They won a national championship while he was the assistant there. So Calvert Hall excited to have Hassan on board. Nice defensive help that time by Calvert Hall.
Yeah, just couldn't get it inside.
Amir Jenkins, as LaSalle stays in the zone, looking for help and finds it in Latrell Wedlock.
Explorers lead by 11, 18-7.
Shane Allen, a good look to the inside. Now Wedlock gets it back. Allen, the skip pass to the baseline. Nice catch there by Jenkins. Jenkins all the way in. A wild shot, barely draws the iron, and Timby brings it down. Timby, wide open. Can't hit that one. That's a very good look by Khalil Diarra.
It was.
Don't get me
nice
wrong.
Pass.
I want to see a little bit more aggressiveness offensively from him. He's caught it twice on the baseline and has elected not to go up with it. Saved in bounds. Zach Chrysler there on a tremendous box out, stayed with it. And a carry called against Alan Powell. He's not going to like the call, but he definitely turned it a little bit. Six minutes
More
to
shake,
go.
less bake there.
In the second quarter, the Explorers an 18-7 lead over Calvert Hall, whose offense is just yet to get going.
They scored on their first 2 possessions, and then they have gone dry. We had a 5-5 game, and they haven't only scored 1 bucket since.
This is going to be a guy that's going to have to do it. Shane Allen and Logan Curtis, who play catch with it. Those are 2 guys that do a lot for them offensively. Allen thought about hitting an NBA 3. Elects better of it. And right now the problem for Calvert Hall with Conrad Kiska playing more of a 3-2 zone is that they can't get the ball into the middle of this zone. They're shooting over the top. Another forced 3.
And a big rebound from Khalil Diarra.
But that's the key against the zone, Chris. You got to find a way to get it inside. Zach Chrysler up top for Powell. Launches for 3 and hits. Nothing but nylon for Alan Powell, and the Explorers tripling up the Calvert Hall Cardinals 21-7.
I'd like to see Zach Chrysler turn on his man and try to put it up, bank it off. I mean, it was a nice pass. Found a wide open Alan Powell, but I'd like to see him try to score from the paint.
And generally, I agree with you. On that one, the double team came, and so I think he did a nice job to find the guy who left him, but I agree. I think there's some aggressiveness and intensity that he can continue
he's going to need
develop
later in the season. That this would be these types of games give him a chance to develop that.
You're talking the Bonner Prendy games of the world, the Roman Catholic games of the world.
Even the Archbishop Carroll and the Archbishop Woods. I have to be honest, I think one of their tougher games is going to come a little more than a week from tonight, actually a week from tonight, when Bishop McDevitt comes to LaSalle's gym.
Yeah, that's going to be one heck of a basketball game. We saw them last year. LaSalle found a way to win that game against what was a really tough Lancers team, and that was kind of the beginning of what was a resurgence for that Lancers program.
That was a nice pass.
Yep, intercepted by Calvert Hall. LaSalle back pretty well defensively. Henderson with the basketball, drives all the way to the lane. Good look for Allen. A corner three will go. Shane Allen. Now this gives LaSalle an opportunity. That timeout first by Calvert Hall.
Action again continues, folks, all weekend long.
I was going to say it was going to give LaSalle an opportunity to test themselves against the full court pressure, because there have been very few times that Calvert Hall can put that into place, quite simply because they haven't found the bottom of the hoop for that stoppage.
And in looking at some of the highlight films of Calvert Hall, they like to put pressure on the ball. And I think that's an area where LaSalle struggled during parts of the year, particularly on the baseline inbound. So I'd like to see someone, test the Explorers that way, get them ready for the upcoming league games where they're going to need to do that. And if you look at it, there's been some games that haven't been competitive. LaSalle's been in a lot of other competitive games. LaSalle's had to hold some teams off because of their inability to inbound the ball.
So out of the timeout, Calvert Hall is really going to back off that zone that they showed heading into the timeout. They back off that three-quarters court pressure, and the Explorers back into the offensive set, leading by 11 with 4:07 to play second quarter. Matchup zone here employed by Calvert Hall. Timby goes baseline, leaves it back for Diarra. Great pass inside. Thought Chrysler was fouled as well.
Right.
But boy, what a
that
find.
Could have been an N1, but just a great pass. Again, as we said all along, Khalil Diarra can pass the ball.
He does all the little things you'd like out of a big man. Count it, and one. Amir Jenkins over the top, fouled by Zach Chrysler. LaSalle leading 23-13. One more coming for Jenkins at the foul line.
LaSalle foul at number 21, Zach Chrysler, his first team second.
As we're evaluating trends, we might as well say it. This is also something that LaSalle has struggled with. We saw on Friday night against Archbishop Ryan 3 times a shooter was fouled beyond the three-point line, and twice
It was
a bucket
4-point play.
+1.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how Zach Chrysler responds to this. He has not always this season responded well to bad fouls. Will it affect him on the offensive end? Will he make another poor judgment call?
That's a good skip pass right there. And now inside they go for Conrad Kiska. Extra pass for Alan Powell for 3. Yes. And I don't think Alan Powell has touched the rim yet. That was a pure swish that time from the senior.
Oh, a lot of steps there.
Curtis, no good. Good rebound there by Zach Chrysler. And then thrown away. Curtis finishes that time. Chrysler saves it underneath his own basket, leads to the open layup.
But again, Bob, on the inbound, pressure, turn the ball away.
Chrysler steps into a 3, no good. Follow, secondary follow, 2 offensive rebounds. Beard cans the 2. Great effort attacking the offensive glass. Curtis up and under, no good. The follow won't go. And a foul called, and that's going to be against Chrysler, should be his second.
And that'll bring Khalil Diarra back into the game.
That's the team's 3rd foul. That's his second.
Khalil Diarra returns from the Salle.
But again, that's 3 offensive rebounds on 1 possession alone for Kevin Collier.
Not only didn't Chrysler get any of those offensive rebounds, but he ends up with the foul at the end.
Good hands by Alan Powell, knocks it out of bounds. And Calvert Hall will inbound from underneath their own basket. 28-15, 2:19 to play, second quarter. Nice hands that time by Jenkins. Extra pass, Allen open for 3. It's good. Allen showing himself to be a sharp shooter when given a little bit of space, and the lead is cut back to 10 for LaSalle.
He has more than half of Calvert Hall's points.
And this clock isn't running, hasn't been running for about 15 seconds. Still sitting at 2:19, nobody notices it. Absolutely nobody notices it as the Explorers score the bucket, and only now does the clock start running. So we got some bonus basketball here in the first half, and the Explorers with a 12-point lead.
I felt like we were at West Catholic. We had a little trouble with that last week.
It follows Jason Hassan wherever he goes. Khalil Diarra, an aggressive hedge. Great job not to foul.
Right.
Henderson over the top, no good. Rebound out of bounds. Back
Timby
to
lets it
LaSalle.
LaSalle, less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 to play here in the first half.
Explorers are going to be patient here. 100 seconds left in the first half. Obviously, with no shot clock and a 12-point lead, there's no reason to take a shot that's not a beauty. Diarra, don't know if that's the look. It almost went down, and now an offensive foul called, or at least a loose ball foul on the rebound attempt by Conrad Kiska. That's the team's fourth, and that's Conrad's first personal foul.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the shot they wanted from Khalil Diarra. As you were saying earlier, you wanted to see him take a little more offensive efforts, but that's not the shot.
Patience here. Here's Allen with the basketball. Allen goes down to Collier, guarded by Khalil Diarra, and that's a great place for Collier to catch the ball. Great job by Diarra defensively. Collier's not going to take you off the dribble, so if you can have him catch it out by the three-point line. Now good defense here by Timby as well. Under 50 seconds to play. Collier.
Nice pass.
Good teardrop there after the pass from Logan Curtis. Drew the defender, and a good find. Back to 10 again. Feels like LaSalle has completely dominated this game, Chris, but again, here we are, only 10 points. Good fight by the Cardinals of Calvert Hall. Explorers content to hold for the last shot. It's been this guy, Alan Powell, when the shot clock or game clock here in this case is running low. Whether it's the end of the game or end of a quarter, he's been the guy to run the show. Down to 4. Inside. Ball loose. Off the glass, no. Titus Beard can't hit it. And it's 30-20 LaSalle after one half of play. Chris, I thought that last possession was brilliantly defended by Calvert Hall.
It was, because it really didn't leave the Explorers with much of a shot. The play they ran didn't leave the Explorers with any open shot at all. No one to throw it to on the wing. Very lucky that Titus Beard was able to come up with the loose ball and get a decent shot off. That drop ball could have clearly dropped.
Halftime here at Chestnut Hill College, 30-20, LaSalle with the lead over Calvert Hall. We'll take a break, come back on the other side. You are watching LaSalle College High School Basketball. It's live here on Bob Long Sports, simulcast on LaSalle_sports on Twitter, and also on our YouTube page. Thanks for being with us on this beautiful Friday evening for the Pete and Jameer Nelson Classic, Scholastic Play-by-Play Classics run by Jeremy Treatman and his great staff. We'll be right back.
Is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfort Avenue.
Generation after generation. Our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfort Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dunphyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
I would say that LaSalle is dynamic. Prepared. Active. Diverse. Brotherhood. Family.
Ford is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfurt Avenue.
Generation after generation, our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dumpyford.com.
Come experience the Dumpy difference. You'll be glad you did.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
I would say that LaSalle is dynamic. Prepared. Active. Diverse. Brotherhood. Family.
Ford is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfurt Avenue.
Generation after generation, our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dumpyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
I would say that LaSalle is dynamic. Prepared. Active. Diverse. Brotherhood. Family.
Welcome back inside Chestnut Hill College, beginning of the second half here on Bob Long Sports, simulcast on LaSalle_sports on Twitter, and always on our YouTube page, which is where you can catch all the archive games as well. Bob Long, Chris Carabello. And Chris, pretty good basketball game here so far. The Explorers lead 30-20 in a game that I think we talked about it at the end of the first half. Kind of felt like it could be a larger lead for the Explorers, but Calvert Hall has clawed and fought their way to 20 points, and they're hanging in.
Yeah, at one point I actually almost thought the scoreboard was wrong. But I thought it was a half the Explorers dominated, yet only have a 10-point lead.
Well, you were right that the scoreboard was wrong. About 30 seconds went off the clock at one point without ticking downward. Now it'll be Calvert Hall basketball in a joint possession. Alternate possession gives it to the Cardinals.
The Explorers were led by Alan Powell in the first half with 12 points.
Allen's been hot, and he stays hot. It's a 7-point game.
And he has 15 for Calvert Hall, so he has 15 of their 23 points.
Bob Long, Chris Carabello, and Mike Gelati is on the camera for us here tonight, doing a great job. Excited that everybody can be here for us on this late matinee tip. And it's an answer from Titus Beard. Big time from the corner, good find. And the Explorers retain now that 10-point lead.
And that was a tale of 2 3-point opportunities, whether you were going to have Alan Powell on the one wing or Titus Beard on the other. They went with Titus Beard. He hits the 3.
Early stages of the third quarter, a minute in now. Calvert Hall hits a 3 on their first offensive possession, and LaSalle answers with a 3 of their own. Explorers back into the 2-3 zone. Chrysler, Beard, and Kiska on the back line. Curtis up and under, no. Hassan thought he was blocked. hit on his way up. Now inside, here's the cutter, extra pass, Powell in the corner for 3, no good. Henderson on the run. Allen will fire away again. That one won't go. Brought down and kept high by Conrad Kiska. Timeout called by Mike McKee. I think he saw the pace ratcheting up a little bit there, and a good timeout.
Yeah, it was something he clearly didn't like.
I'll say the same thing on the other end, and we're saying this because of all the talent that guys like Diarra and Zach Chrysler have. But when he catches that ball on the baseline, I understand that certainly Beer's open on that cut to the basket, but I think you can power dribble that, go right up over somebody that's 5 inches shorter than you and score, and I think that is that next step for him.
And I think it was a wide open 3, but I also thought he had a 2 if he took the extra dribble and stepped to the basket.
Right.
I thought he had a higher percentage too.
Right. I would agree.
And quite frankly, I don't think Mike McKee liked what he saw.
And Chrysler,
I think he saw the same thing we saw.
And Chrysler now on the bench for the time being, Khalil Diarra in his place. They skip the ball. Jake Timby, a long 3, nothing but net.
He has a real nice left-handed shot. Nice rotation on that ball.
He's got range, too. He can put it up from distance, Chris. Henderson goes baseline. Inside they go. Collier, offensive foul, runs through Khalil Diarra. Put another one on the board. That's 2 for him tonight.
You know what I'd like to do with him? Almost like what the Ohio State football players do. You get a little sticker on the side of your helmet.
There's not going to be enough room on that jersey.
And he loves taking them.
Also, I don't know if there's many seamstresses at LaSalle. I don't know if a sticker would work on the jersey, but maybe get the seamstresses going and sew that in there with each charge he takes.
We'll get Robin Kelly in the theater department working on that.
Beard to the basket. Fights through, can't hit.
Another nice pass, though, from Khalil Diarra.
13-point lead for LaSalle. 5:15 to play third quarter. Nearly a travel.
I don't know that that was nearly. It just wasn't called.
It's been Curtis, Allen, and Henderson doing the job here tonight for Calvert Hall. This is Curtis with the basketball now. Spins baseline, blocked by Allen Powell. It'll stay right here. And while those 3 have been good, Chris, unfortunately for Calvert Hall, on a play like that, it gets a little bit predictable. With Curtis just trying to back somebody down. This time it's Collier. Spinning baseline, stays on his pivot foot.
Oh.
And a foul called against Khalil Diarra, a little nickel dimer inside. Didn't see much there, Chris.
No.
But they said that
was clearly a no call.
Yeah, as the pivot foot was shifting, that Diarra shoved his lower half into him a little bit. Again, I just didn't see much there.
And he did have his body up against him, but not enough to call that foul.
Somehow ends up being a decent pass for Allen. I think Curtis just lost the ball.
Yeah, there's a warning.
Yeah, it should be another delay of game
He's
warning.
He's going to get a delay of game warning.
Delay of game has been called on Calvert Hall. That is only a warning. Delay of game on Calvert Hall. That is only a warning.
36-25, LaSalle leading, 4:26 to play. They have a perfect record on the line this year in the Pete and Jameer Nelson Classic. Always a great matchup of local and regional teams. This is a good test to see where they are against the Calvert Hall team, whose record might not be there, but is playing some of the better competition in the country, coming out of the MIAA division in Baltimore. What a back cut.
What a nice
and
pass.
What a find from Titus Beard to Conrad Kiska. Collier loses the ball. Powell comes up with it. Powell off the glass and is fouled by Henderson.
he may have had the pass there.
I think so.
I think his better shot was the pass rather than the left-handed layup.
Give him credit, though. Great play to coerce that steal at midcourt, and he went right to the hoop, knew where he wanted to go, and gets 2 shots for his troubles. Powell hits the first. It's 39-25.
Sam Brown will come back into the game, replace Jake Timby. Sam Brown has gotten more and more time.
Agreed. He's played well when he's been in, too.
Yeah.
Even given the liberty to shoot a couple three-pointers as well.
Timeout, Calvert Hall.
Timeout called by Calvert Hall.
Timeout is
a full timeout on the floor with 3:53 to play here in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's their third, so they will 2 timeouts left for Calvert Hall. And the game to follow this will be Bishop McDevitt-Pennsbury. Get a chance to maybe get a look at the Bishop McDevitt team that will play a week from tonight.
Should be one heck of a basketball game.
Yeah, Bob, you were alluding to earlier. That was a game that LaSalle was a great win last year. Matt McMahon, 4-point play to win the game at the end. Tough gym to play in.
Tough gym to broadcast that.
Tough gym to yes. Just a tough gym. The Lancers will have to come to Cheltenham Avenue. But
much easier
gym to broadcast and to play.
And a home court advantage.
Lighting's a little better. But but nevertheless, a much improved Bishop McDevitt team. I thought that was a good team last year. They made the playoffs. This year, a team that could very easily be the 4 or 5, 6 playoff spot.
Absolutely. I mean, a trip to the Palestra is not out of the question for that program by any stretch of the imagination. They had several nice upsets last year as well on their way to a Catholic League playoff berth, and a couple of Roman transfers, including Robert Smith last year, really started to come into their own, and the program has just continued to go from there.
Yeah, and they've played, one of the more difficult parts of their schedule already in the Prep, Wood, and Carroll, winning all 3. So they have a lot of their softer games left.
Offensive foul, Khalil Diarra. You probably won't have me agree with that one, but it's this third. That's another helmet sticker.
Yeah, Jason Hassan not happy with that one. Well, it's similar to the O'Hara game where he picked up 3, and one of them was clearly questionable.
Tell you what, though, you develop a reputation. It's like the guy that's really, really good at knowing the strike zone. So when he doesn't swing and the umpire's got to make a gut decision, sometimes you think, well, that guy might know the zone better than I do. Powell somehow gets rid of it inside. Titus Beard, contact, and finishes.
Yeah.
Now LaSalle ratcheting up the pressure here. 17-point lead, forces the turnover. And now you're starting to see the Explorers start to dominate this game, up 17 points.
Jason Hassan wanted the ball back there where they threw it. Unfortunately, no one touched the ball, and it's where it goes out of bounds.
You're exactly right about that. And this is a spot where you've seen LaSalle can go obviously one of 2 ways. There have been times where they've taken this momentum and blown a team out. There's been times where teams have crawled back. Right. Interested to see what this team's going to do here tonight. I like the look of this team here this evening. Kiska, see ya! Big time from the senior.
And 19-point lead for the Explorers.
A much-needed timeout called by Jason Hassan.
Yeah, Jason Hassan has to call timeout number 4.
Conrad Kiska sometimes has this look about him when he dribbles that first ball with power, and you know exactly where he's going. That lane opened up, and when that happens, nobody wants to get in his way.
No. And if they did, he was going over them. We've got headphones on, and we can hear Jason Hassan from over here. He is not happy.
Would you be?
When, the Explorers changed up their defense, they put pressure on the inbound. Calvert Hall struggled to get it across the court, struggled to inbound it, turned the ball over. Explorers have built up to a 19-point lead.
Really has been a great response. Great set of adjustments, like you said, at halftime. And this is a team right now in LaSalle feeling it. They have one more game coming up after this one before that gauntlet of the PCL and PCL only really commences.
Yeah, I think Sunday's test. I think Sunday will be a nice test against Cheltenham. They've got some talent, well-coached team, another local rivalry.
Yes.
Playing at Arcadia, it's almost the battle of 19038. And then again, I keep alluding to it, but a week from tonight, Bishop McDevitt comes to LaSalle, and I think that's the real test in the Explorers' schedule, because the 4 games that follow are clearly the softer part of the Catholic League schedule.
It was a good no call there by the officials as there's a turnover here. Up the floor comes Titus Beard after the feed from Kiska. Brown steps into a 3. No good. Tapped up by Conrad Kiska. And the senior is feeling it right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's changed his pivot foot. Yes, good call by the official. It'll send it LaSalle's way. So back to, again, this game's moving so quickly, it is tough to even analyze, but everybody wanted, on the LaSalle side, wanted a over and back by Calvert Hall, but when you have one foot on each side and your second foot never comes across, you can still bring
the other one
back. And that was the key, a good no call.
Jake Timby showing a little razzle-dazzle to get the ball across.
Ooh, and he lost it. Here comes Curtis. Curtis puts it in, and Timby goes down. Timby caught a wet spot on the floor. Hope he's okay here.
Ooh.
Right on that little logo where you see the discoloration in the paint area. And I think it was a little bit wet. Injury timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick break and come back here on BLS.
Ford is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfurt Avenue.
Generation after generation, our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dumpyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
Good to see Jake Timby up on his own power over to the bench. He'll get looked at by Dave Crow, but
Dave Crow did something almost like to pop it into place. Like, I knew exactly what to do. So I was very fortunate to have an athletic trainer of the quality of Dave Crow.
That's absolutely true. He does a great job.
We need to give Dave Crow a little more shout-outs in our broadcast.
I'll tell you what, we gave him a lot of shout-outs on Friday night at Archbishop Bryan because we were calling the game from the Crow's Nest.
From the magic window.
I don't want to even ask what that means.
There's a prime example. That was good that the Explorers were able to break that pressure. That's something they've struggled with at times during the season.
Now some full court or half court pressure, but they're really extending this defense. Titus Beard given an open 3, takes it a little short, brought down by Calvert Hall. And taken right back by Titus Beard ahead of the defense. He will finish. Just continuous.
He had an open Allen Powell. He had a wide open shot. Just a great defense by the Explorers.
You're seeing some of the same adjustments being made on both defensive sides. Then after Calvert Hall brings that pressure out to the half-court stripe, LaSalle did the same thing. He elicited a turnover. Final minute here of the third quarter. LaSalle in complete control. Elbow jumper. That one's good by Amir Jenkins. Full court look here from Calvert Hall.
Explorers contend holding out.
25 seconds left. Conrad Kiska with the basketball. Kiska pulled that from
he
behind.
Grabbed his shirt.
Pretty clear. No call, though. 13 seconds left. Here's Alan Powell with the basketball. He's doubled. Now here's Zach Chrysler. Conrad Kiska for three. No good. Manny Frere goes up high and draws the foul. Shooting foul called. He'll shoot two.
Nice rebound by Manny. Yeah, that was almost an intentional foul when he grabbed his shirt. Going to the basket. I mean, I don't understand how that wasn't called. You didn't. Yeah, we weren't fortunate enough to broadcast the game yesterday against Central Catholic. I mean, Central High School. But interesting thing happened in that game, in that it appeared as if Alan Powell was tripped, but clearly was not. The player had grabbed his foot, and the referees met, changed the call, awarded an intentional foul.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw the score there, 60 to 13. What was it?
50 to 13.
50 to 13. What was the halftime score, if you don't mind me asking?
It was, they had 10 at the half.
At the horn, it will count if it goes, no good.
No, they had 9 at the half. They scored 2 in each of the final quarters.
This one's certainly a little bit more competitive, but LaSalle has doubled their halftime lead. They lead by 20 with 8 minutes left. 49-29 with 8 minutes to go here in this one.
That's one of the things we talked about, Bob. That the Explorers have had a habit of jumping out to a lead and then losing that lead. Here's a situation where they got to 15 and got it to 20.
Very, very impressive. Good effort here today for the undefeated LaSalle Explorers. Bob Long, Chris Carabello. And really, really nice game here so far. Mike Gelati is here on the camera as well, doing a great job. It's a nice gym here. It's a good view of the floor, and very packed here on the LaSalle side. A good fan base, good crowd here this evening. And I always enjoy coming here, Chris.
This is a nice gym. It's a nice gym to broadcast from. It's a nice gym to watch a game from. Stands only on one side. Similar to Holy Family.
Right, right. Yeah, it's cool to come for these guys to come out and see what a college gym is like, D2, D3 level type gym. Arcadia is a great place to play.
You walk through kind of ancient hallways, very Harry Potter-like, to get here.
Well, the mascot for Chestnut Hill College is, in fact, the Griffins, and as not really a Harry Potter aficionado, apparently that has something to do with Harry Potter. So there you go, the Chestnut Hill College Griffins for all our Harry Potter fans out there. Again, apparently that's meaningful.
LaSalle will start the fourth quarter with the ball. Zach Chrysler.
Wow, good finish inside. Strong move, 2 dribbles, and over the left shoulder.
I think that's important for Zach to hit that shot. I think it's important for Zach to take that shot.
It's been, by and large, a complete performance for the LaSalle Explorers here tonight. They've done a little bit of everything.
Explorers averaging almost 62 points a game.
Certainly look to be on track to go above that. Kevin Collier hits the nice turnaround from the elbow. 51-31 the lead.
Alan Powell will take it right up all the way.
Now they'll slow it down here. Titus Beard wide open for 3. Count it. He's a great spot and pop type guy. Here's an open 3 from the corner. That was not even close. Out of bounds, back to LaSalle. That may not be part of Olu Olanarin's game right there, number 15, and he'll go to the bench.
No, I don't think it is.
Powell with the basketball again here. Patient against the full court pressure. Skip pass for Titus Beer. Good one-handed catch. Now Frere goes all the way to the hoop, up and under. Great finish.
Great reverse layup.
Very controlled on that dribble drive as well. And a calm finish. 25-point lead. Largest lead of the night for the Explorers. A little hand check called against Zach Chrysler on the grab.
Yeah, I'll be his third, but now that we're 2 minutes into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they called that against Kiska, but that's not right. They called it Kiska's second, not Chrysler, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that I think it's the public address maybe confusing Kiska and Chrysler, which again,
that foul was on number 21, Zach Chrysler, his 13th second.
There you go. Wouldn't be the first time, right? Kiska and Chrysler, they've had to go through that for 4 years.
Thought you were going to say it wouldn't be the first time the voice made a mistake.
No, that would be the first time the voice made a mistake. He's a good friend of the show here.
He is.
Curtis over the top.
Logan Curtis.
And he held that one for added effect there on the Logan Curtis 3.
Sam Brown with the ball.
And they are really aggressive with that double team, picking a good spot to do it. LaSalle fortunate to get it outside. Zach Chrysler brings it down with 2 hands. And he's pulled at. Great job by Zach Chrysler to get the first hand on it, and then to continue to fight on the baseline.
Yeah.
Also number 21, Latrell Wedlock. That's his first team foul.
Let's look for the back door. No.
Sam Brown stepped on the baseline. It'll go the other way. 5:42 to play, fourth and final quarter of regulation. LaSalle leading Calvert Hall 56-34 in the Scholastic play-by-play. Pete and Jameer Nelson Basketball Classic here from Chestnut Hill College. And Mike DiPietro coming into the game for the Explorers.
And in the game for Calvert Hall's number 22, Ryan Salle.
DiPietro got a nice hand here from the LaSalle faithful.
Sitting behind his fan club.
It's good. I never had a fan club. I can appreciate that.
You might not want some of these guys as your fan club.
Collier over the top, banks it home. A little late in the evening on a holiday weekend, but the bank is open for Collier. And a foul call, certainly a bailout there.
I got nervous he wasn't going to blow the whistle at first.
Also number 25, Russell Ware. That's his first.
That was also dangerously close to a backcourt violation. Because Frere had the ball possessed in the backcourt, then he lost control, went across the front into the front court, came back, but he never possessed the ball in the front court.
Never possessed the ball, yeah.
So LaSalle, after that foul, has it with 5:05 to play in this game. Leading by 20, Titus Beard taking his time. Sam Brown, good look for Frere, extra pass DiPietro. Skip pass, Zach Chrysler with the two-handed flush.
Nice play. Nice look from DiPietro.
Driving inside, lefty floater won't go. Chrysler with a nice defensive rebound. And the over-the-top pass, Frere, and a fastball goes by DiPietro. Just a bit outside. I like the look there. I mean, he clearly had him.
He clearly had it broken.
Just got a little fired up on that one. Wild shot, won't go. Brought down by Titus Beard. Good pressure by DiPietro and by Zach Chrysler inside. And then a foul called. 17th foul against Calvert Hall. It will send Titus Beard to the line to shoot 1 plus the bonus.
In the game for LaSalle, number 5, Liam O'Donnell. And number 12, Joey Dempsey. Placing Zach Chrysler.
Joey Dempsey into the game.
Liam O'Donnell will replace Titus Beard, who's got the shots. 1-1.
Spears shoots 1-1. Now in the game for LaSalle, number 5, Liam O'Donnell, and number 3, Shane Holland, replacing Manny Freer.
Holland into the game. O'Donnell will replace the shooter if Beard connects here. And O'Donnell will check in for Titus Beard. And this is good to see as well. You have an opportunity to play some of the guys that are playing more on the JV side or waiting for that opportunity at the varsity level in a big-time gym like this, in a tournament that's drawing some eyes as well. Foul called against Dempsey, his first team's third foul here in the second half. Zone defense here for the Explorers. Over the top, a long three will go. Logan Curtis gets back on the board again. Sam Brown up for O'Donnell. Inside DiPietro, and he finishes.
Nice look.
Inside, an offensive foul called. And that's an odd one because nobody went down on that play, but the contact drew the offensive foul.
That's his second and team 8.
Jenkins called for his second personal foul, team's 8th, an offensive foul. So
I think
even
he lacked any control whatsoever. And that's
I'll
what
agree
the call
with that.
was.
That's for sure.
I agree with you. No one went down.
Jason Hassan does not agree. Now Liam O'Donnell up the floor for Holland, who keeps his dribble. Thought he was hit from behind.
How is that not a foul?
Wow, surprise. A lot of contact there. Now the spin around, blocked by DiPietro. He got a hand on that one. 62-39. Wedlock with the basketball. Jenkins a long three, no good, and O'Donnell comes down with it. Dempsey up the floor for DiPietro. That pass nearly intercepted. Brown up and under, no good. Brought down there by Jenkins. Amir Jenkins up the floor for Calvert Hall. An NBA three and then some. Count it. Logan Curtis. 20-point game.
Calvert Hall continues to press.
Dempsey up the floor. Good look for Holland, and they will slow it up. Joey Dempsey up at the logo, poked at from behind, maintains the control here with 2:30 to play. Inside, look at that ball movement. Count it from DiPietro. Great feed. Tic-tac-toe from Dempsey over to O'Donnell. Sam Brown in between as well, and a great finish by DiPietro. Good team basketball. As Brown is called for the foul.
Foul fouls on number 24, Sam Brown. That's his first, team 4th. Beard Jenkins shoots 2.
Explorer subs content with taking advantage of open opportunities.
And not only that, let's talk about how unselfish they're all being. In a limited opportunity to be on the floor, they're moving the ball as well as the starters were.
Bob, that's a really good point because it's your opportunity to score, and you won't get many, particularly as you get into Catholic League play, although there's a few games there'll be some softer opponents. But here's a chance to score in a showcase game, college gym, and yet showing some really unselfish play.
Great teamwork. I mean, it's like these guys play out there on the floor together every day.
He replaces Mike DiPietro.
Again, very effectively breaking the press. And a giveaway here. Bodies on the floor. Could have been a kick, not called. Now Wedlock looks down low. And there's a finish by Olarian. 1:44 to play, 64-45. LaSalle with the lead by 19.
Calvert Hall credit, continuing to play aggressive basketball.
Brown will carry it across himself
And
go all the way to the hole. Can't finish. Good follow.
Good follow-up by Brian Cawley.
Here's the three from Wedlock, in and out. Cawley brings it down.
When he got
Thought
pushed.
he was pushed. They're letting a lot of contact go here for a 21-point game. Here's a three from O'Donnell. No good.
Nice look by Joey Dempsey to give that open shot to Liam O'Donnell.
And thrown away. 1:06 to play.
Yeah, the officials just letting them play at this point because there's a lot of contact.
Here's Sam Brown. And you saw Mike McKee, or we saw off camera, Mike McKee put up the number 4, which I would certainly take to mean some form of 4 corners. Hold the basketball. Don't take a shot unless it's a layup. They skip it around.
Yeah, just yelling at them to secure the ball.
Under 35 to play here in this one. A 21-point lead. LaSalle's going to get out of here with a nice win over a fellow Christian Brothers school, Calvert Hall, out of Baltimore. Good to see Jason Hassan back in the building, back in town after coaching West Catholic for 2 years. Now his first stint with Calvert Hall.
And it's nice to see this rivalry in other sports. It's a prime rivalry in lacrosse where Brian Kelly, the coach of Calvert Hall, and Bill Leahy, the coach of LaSalle, former teammates at Calvert Hall, make a point to play each other as often as possible.
And Mike McKee and the LaSalle Explorers maintain their undefeated season thus far.
They go to 9-0.
They'll have another nice matchup coming up on Saturday, but give these guys a lot of credit here for continuing to play tough basketball. This is going to be a tough out in the Catholic League.
You know what? And a lot of people, you know, when they look at that 9-0 record, LaSalle is doing it out without one of their starters. Jake Timby was not the starter at the start of this season. Jack Rothenberg, broken bone in his foot, has, you know, slated to be the starter at the start of this season. He's out until at least mid-January.
We'll welcome you inside our broadcast booth here. Bob Long, Chris Carabello. Great, thank you very much to Mike behind the camera, doing a great job here tonight. So, Chris, as we now move and really are about to turn the calendar, still one more game before the new year, what do you think about this team? Where do they stand? Where do they stack up against the Catholic League?
Well, I think the 9-0 start is a tremendous start, maybe one of the best starts in program history. I think they have a great test on Sunday against a tough Cheltenham team, little crosstown rival, at a neutral site that's really halfway between both schools. But I think the real test is going to come Friday night against McDevitt. They move into a softer part of their league schedule with games against Conwell Egan, Lansdale Catholic, Father Judge, and Devon Prep, and then really play 6 tough games. I think at that point they're going to have adapted the style of Mike McKee, have made the transition. I think things have gone very well from that standpoint, and I think things look really good. And as I said, at some point we're going to get that starter back in Jack Rothenberg, see how he can fit into the mix.
Yeah, it's been certainly a three-headed monster with Alan Powell, Zach Chrysler, Conrad Kiska. Titus Beard is getting very good minutes as well. This is a team that's shaping itself and really establishing its identity going into a very tough part, as you said, of the schedule with the Cheltenham game and then Bishop McDevitt coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think if we can get through those 2 games, there'll be 4 games that follow that are a little easier, and then they're going to be set up for what is going to be just a dogfight. Starting at Newman Goretti, going to Carroll, games against Roman, the Prep, Archbishop Wood. It's not going to be easy.
Yep. We are off here at Bob Long Sports for the next couple of weeks, but you can catch all the games at least on a live stream. You won't have us, but you can catch all those LaSalle games. We'll be back the week of the 11th, January 11th, so appreciate everybody watching and being with us here. A late Merry Christmas and early Happy New Year to you on behalf of our entire team here at Bob Long Sports. So for Chris, for Mike, I'm Bob saying so long. Thanks for being with us. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for enjoying LaSalle basketball with us.
Night.
Exciting games, and that tips off